Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? This is Joseph Conlon here tonight on Saturday, August 21st, 2021. It is technically August 22nd, but SummerSlam just wrapped up, so we are here to talk about SummerSlam. We're also going to talk about CM Punk as well. I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you, but I really think WWE's in trouble. I really do. And, I said it last night on the reaction video that myself, Wesley Williams, and Cameron Johnson did for CM Punk. My internet went out, so we couldn't do a full-fledged review. However, it's at 267 views now on the channel, so I thank all of you who went out and watched the video. One of the most highest viewed AEW videos on my channel, so I highly thank you all for that. And I feel like WWE's in trouble. And I said this last night. I don't care how much money they make. I don't care how much money Vince McMahon makes. I don't care how much money Nick Khan makes. But what I do care about is the product that they put out every Monday night, every Friday night, the pay-per-views. That's what we should care about. And right now, they're not delivering. Right now, they don't care. They don't care about the fans. They want to do what they want to do. Not what we want. They do what they want. They don't love professional wrestling. They hate professional wrestling. And that's what AEW and CM Punk is doing right now. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But those people in Stamford, Connecticut hate professional wrestling. And they've hated professional wrestling for years. Vince McMahon hates professional wrestling. Vince McMahon doesn't care about what the fans want. Vince McMahon is going to do what he wants. And at the end of the day, he doesn't care about the show. He doesn't care about his talents. He doesn't care what happens on the show. All he cares about is the money. How much money can I throw at you to make you happy? It's probably what happened tonight. I can tell you right now, if CM Punk did not show up on Rampage last night and make the impact that he did on the show, 2 million views each video AEW posted, of almost 1 million views on Twitter, almost how many likes on Instagram and how many likes on Twitter. Vince McMahon, guarantee you, if CM Punk did not show up on Rampage last night, we would have not seen Brock Lesnar and we would have not seen Becky Lynch tonight. Those were reactionary moves. We weren't supposed to see Brock Lesnar tonight. Maybe Becky Lynch, but I don't think we were supposed to see Becky Lynch either, because it was rumored Becky Lynch was going to show up during the draft. But with those two coming in, especially Brock Lesnar, this shows to me and to you, Vince McMahon is desperate. Vince McMahon is afraid. Vince McMahon is scared. Vince McMahon is clueless. Vince McMahon does not know what to do. He is afraid of what CM Punk, Tony Khan, and AEW are doing right now. He can go out all he wants and say AEW is not competition. They're not real competition to us. Bro, yes, they are. They are absolutely competition. Whether you want to admit it or not. Whether you want to tell your shareholders or not. AEW is competition. Period. Period. I don't know how much money he threw at Brock Lesnar to show up on the end of SummerSlam and confront Roman Reigns. But let's be real, folks. That was never supposed to happen. Never supposed to happen. Clearly, CM Punk's return, his debut on AEW, made a huge impact. It made a huge impact to Brock Lesnar coming in. I want to talk more about CM Punk tonight because obviously it's the biggest story in pro wrestling. Brock Lesnar is going to be one and done. He's coming in for a paycheck. Brock Lesnar is going to face Roman Reigns. There's your Saudi main event. They just set up your main event tonight for Saudi Arabia. It's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to go over. Brock Lesnar is going to get his outstanding paycheck. And goodbye. Goodbye to Brock Lesnar. Goodbye to Butch Brock Lesnar. But CM Punk is in it for the long haul. He did a media scrum with Tony Khan last night. And he didn't give specifics to what his deal was. But Tony Khan said that it's not a short-term deal. So he's in it for a long term. He's going to be in AEW for a very, very long time. And he's going to retire in AEW on his terms. On his terms. Before we get into anything SummerSlam, like I said, I want to talk about CM Punk. Because it's the biggest thing in pro wrestling right now. CM Punk, Tony Khan, has changed the landscape of professional wrestling right now as we speak. Legit. I could say it over and over and over and over again. It was the greatest wrestling moment I have ever experienced in my life. That place, that pop, that Punk got last night at the United Center was probably the biggest pop that I've ever heard on TV. I just can't imagine how it was being there. I knew a lot of people that were there. Gamers Goon was the top name that I know. My good friend Gamers Goon put out a video on his YouTube channel. Shit was insane. Shit was absolutely insane. And Punk was out there last night hugging fans. He leaped into the audience. Humongous CM Punk chants. You just hear it. It's like music to ears. And he cuts a promo. He cuts a really good promo because it's CM Punk. He goes into how he left Ring of Honor in August 2005, and he was crying on the way to his last match because he knew he was leaving a place that he loved so much, and he was going to a place that he knew he was not going to be well in. And he was talking how in Ring of Honor, August 13th, 2005, I left professional wrestling, and on August 20th, 2021, CM Punk is back in professional wrestling, which is basically indicating, CM Punk going out there and telling you WWE is not professional wrestling. And he's only speaking facts, folks. WWE is not professional wrestling. I'm sorry. It's not. Just look at the shit. Just look at Monday Night Raw. All you need to do to know that WWE is not professional wrestling is simply watch Monday Night Raw and simply watch Eva Marie versus Alexa Bliss from tonight, and simply watch the segment with The Miz and Morrison with Xavier Woods shooting water, a huge water gun, both at Miz and Morrison. Does that resemble professional wrestling? Does that resemble in something that the company loves professional wrestling? Now, I know most of the wrestlers in that locker room absolutely love professional wrestling, but the people at the top, it doesn't matter. The people at the top hate professional wrestling, and they want you to drive down your throat sports entertainment. It's sports entertainment. That's what they think that's what people want in 2021, and that's not what we want. Which is why more people love and appreciate AEW over WWE, because AEW they adore professional wrestling. And CM Punk then gets into a story how over the past 7 years, if he's ever let anybody down or has been disappointed with his decisions, he totally understands, as long as the people understand that he was never going to get better physically, emotionally, spiritually, or emotionally in the place that got sick of the business in the first place, which is WWE. And he was sick of it. I think that's the right quote. Let me check. CM Punk. I was never going to get better healthfully. I was emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically staying in the same place that got me sick in the first place. Yes, WWE. Basically, he was never, ever, ever going to recuperate in WWE. Never going to happen. So he then got into the reason he came in, and the reason was for the fans. He loves his fans. I love Chicago. He says, I'll admit it, I came back for myself as well, but I also came back for the young talent, to work with the young talent and teach the young talent, because I wish 10 years ago that I was surrounded by the talent that I see in the locker room today. And he says, there's a couple of scores to settle in AEW. And his first name that he releases out is Darby Allen. And he talks about Darby Allen and how tough he is. And he's seeing him jump off airplanes and he's thrown over the top rope in a body bag, thrown down steps, fighting on the streets. You're a dangerous guy, Darby, but there is nothing more dangerous than wrestling CM Punk, especially wrestling CM Punk in Chicago. And then he says, I'll see you, I'll see Sting, and I'll see all of you September 5th at All Out, live on pay-per-view. And it was official today on AEW's Twitter page. We're getting Darby Allen versus CM Punk at All Out. And no doubt in my mind, folks, no doubt in my mind, that's the main event of All Out. I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to lobby that the World Championship and Kenny Omega should main event whatever pay-per-view it is. But that 1 time out of 10, in this case it's CM Punk. CM Punk is making his return, his first match back in 7 years on a huge pay-per-view, which is probably going to be the most anticipated show of the year. I'm guaranteeing you, AEW's already guaranteed at least 170,000 buys on pay-per-view just for the debut match for CM Punk. You are going to have people excited and thrilled to see this man back in the ring, competing in a professional wrestling environment. CM Punk and AEW and Tony Khan have changed the landscape of professional wrestling. And WWE, Vince McMahon, does not know what to do. They don't know what to do. And as soon as you know it, you're going to have more people, leaving, stop watching WWE, stop caring, because they know what's going on AEW. They now see that CM Punk is on TNT every Wednesday and Friday night. And they're going to be like, you know what? What I'm watching on Monday and Friday, it's not interesting anymore. It doesn't resemble what I love, and that's professional wrestling. Why don't I go check out that other show on Wednesday night and Friday night at 10 o'clock on TNT that adores professional wrestling? As soon as you know it, man, AEW, in my eyes, is going to take over as number one in the world. CM Punk was the burial for WWE. He's a burial for WWE, and they're not done with CM Punk. Bryan Danielson, in 1 month, Bryan Danielson is going to be showing up in Queens, New York, and he will be the nail in the coffin to WWE. And then officially, after that, when Bryan shows up on the 22nd of September, AEW will officially be number one in the world, while WWE will be following the leader. And that's all I got to say tonight about CM Punk. An absolute historic moment, an iconic moment, a moment 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I'll be going back in time, watching this moment, showing hopefully my future kids, this is what I grew up with watching professional wrestling as a 19-year-old kid. And it was the greatest moment in my wrestling lifetime that I have ever seen. Unbelievable. CM Punk, AEW, Tony Khan, thank you. You have changed professional wrestling for the better. For the better. Thank you. SummerSlam tonight. We're going to get into the show, but my overall thoughts on the show, outside of RK Bro winning the Monday Night Raw Tag Team titles, Edge versus Seth Rollins, and the main event of John Cena versus Roman Reigns, this might have been the worst SummerSlam I have ever watched in my life. And I'm not saying that, I'm not overreactive because I'm hyped about CM Punk. I legit mean that. Tonight's show was a huge thumbs down. WWE did the impossible. I might as well just talk about this now. Might as well just get into the big stuff now. I'm not even going to talk about the entire show because it's late. I got work in about 9 hours at the time of recording this. I got work at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. 11 a.m. However, 11 a.m. I got work tomorrow morning. I don't want to be here all night. I'm not even going to talk about the entire show because it's just not worth it. This was probably the worst WWE pay-per-view of the entire year. You guys might not disagree. You guys might not agree with me. And at the end of the day, it's you don't have to agree with me. I don't care what you think. You can think whatever you want. As long as you're not being stupid about it, I don't care. But I really do think this was WWE's worst show of the entire year. Legit, going in, nothing to care about on this show outside of what I said was the best on the show. RK Bro, Seth, Rollins, and Edge, and John Cena and Roman Reigns. Also, all the way up until the match was about to begin, WWE was still advertising Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This is the first thing we're going to talk about with SummerSlam tonight. I'm not going to be going in order, talking match by match, describing what each match. I don't care. I don't care that enough. I don't care enough to talk about each match on the show. I just don't. It's WWE. Legit, right now. Does anybody care about WWE? No. The answer is no. Besides the shills. So WWE advertised Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship all the way until their match was about to begin. And it took Andrew Zarian, does not work in the company, by the way, the host of the Matman podcast on YouTube. I like his work, by the way. He's got a great podcast. So a cheap plug right here for Andrew Zarian and Matman podcast. I suggest you guys go out there and subscribe to his podcast. It's a really good listen, and I think he's really good at what he does. So, big shout out to Andrew Zarian. I'm a pretty big fan of him. But it took Andrew Zarian to report that Sasha Banks was not going to be on SummerSlam. That he was not she was not going to be on the show. Why can't WWE go out there and be like, Sasha Banks cannot compete tonight at SummerSlam. We will find another opponent for Bianca Belair or some shit like that. Or even better, Sasha Banks can't compete tonight. This match is canceled. There will be another date where we get Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, and we will get no SmackDown Women's Championship match tonight. Because God knows how I would think about this show if we did not get what we got tonight with the SmackDown Women's Championship. We got 10 matches. 10 matches on the show tonight. What happened to 2.5-hour pay-per-views? This show got over at midnight. And I legit almost was ready to turn the TV off. Legit. No shyness in saying that. I was legit ready to turn the TV off. So they advertise, they false advertise, they clickbaited you. They clickbaited us. So Bianca Belair's out there, and as soon as she got out, as soon as she went out first, I was like, oh, the reports are right. Sasha Banks is not there. So they say Sasha Banks can't compete tonight. Carmella will have another, Bianca will have another opponent. Out comes Carmella. Carmella comes out. I'm like, is this really the plan? Is this really the plan? You're going to bring out Carmella. You're going to have Carmella and Bianca Belair again for the SmackDown Women's Championship. How underwhelming is that? And then they had their face-off. The bell doesn't ring. They're standing there for like 30 minutes. Out came Becky Lynch. The man's back. Becky Lynch is back. I will admit, I'm happy to see Becky Lynch back. I'm a fan of Becky Lynch. I enjoyed her run. When she was on the chase for the championship. Her championship reign was not that entertaining to me. It was really stale. but when she won the Royal Rumble until when she won both titles at WrestleMania, that I enjoyed. So, Becky Lynch is out. She takes out Carmella, and she says, how about we get the man versus the EST? So we're getting a match between Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The bell rings, and Becky Lynch defeated Bianca Belair in 11 seconds. Let me say that again. Becky Lynch defeated Bianca Belair in 11 seconds. And Becky Lesnar is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Bianca Belair got Kofi Kingston. And what do I mean by that? She lost the same way Kofi Kingston lost. Kofi Kingston lost to Brock Lesnar in 7 seconds. And Bianca Belair tonight lost to Becky Lynch in 11 seconds. One forearm and a rock bottom. And that was it. That was it. Bianca Belair won the Royal Rumble match. Overcame the odds. They built her up as an underdog. She goes to WrestleMania and challenges Sasha Banks in the main event for the SmackDown Women's Championship. She wins the SmackDown Women's Championship in a great match. It got best WWE moment in an ESPY. She goes on. She has a decent SmackDown Women's Championship reign. Sasha Banks comes back. We're building up Sasha Banks for Bianca Belair. Sasha Banks can't make it. And Becky Lynch defeats Bianca Belair in 11 seconds. So everything you did with Bianca Belair this year, winning the Royal Rumble, main eventing WrestleMania, winning the SmackDown Women's Championship, you threw all of that out the window. You said, screw this. You threw it out the window. And you threw everything out the window in 11 seconds. 11 seconds. I mean, WWE did the impossible. They made people pissed off with the return of Becky Lynch to the fact that they had members of their own roster pissed off, expressing their feelings on Twitter. Cedric Alexander had an emoji with a palm to the face. Shelton Benjamin said something on Twitter. An NXT wrestler said something. You legit had your own roster pissed off by what was going on with this, what you did to Bianca Belair. So why should I invest my time in Bianca Belair for the entire year of 2021 and what she's doing on SmackDown? Why should I invest my time in Bianca Belair if you're going to treat her like that? She did not deserve that whatsoever. A competitive match, a 15-minute competitive match between Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair would have been great. I guarantee you it would have been a top match on the night. But you decide to bury. And I don't care if people say, oh, Bianca Belair's not buried. Oh, you're overreacting, Joseph. Bianca Belair, she was given everything this year. Yes, she was given everything, but it was all thrown out the window in 11 seconds You clown. They made me pissed off for Becky Lynch's return. It just feels like Becky Lynch came back and makes the women's division worse. Now I get why she's back on SmackDown. Because Seth Rollins is there, and their thing in WWE is they want the couples together on each show. They want the couples to travel together so they're not separate. Makes sense. But Monday Night Raw needs all the help that it needs, and it's getting absolutely no help whatsoever. And you put Becky Lynch back on SmackDown. I mean, the women's division of WWE is just laughable. And the reaction, I saw a video on social media, on Twitter. Someone at the show posted a clip of the reaction to Becky Lynch winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. Dead silence in Allegiant Stadium. Dead freaking silence. They piped in cheers on TV for you to hear, for us to hear. For the people watching at home, they piped in cheers. How pathetic is that? That is absolutely pathetic. And those people inside the stadium, they probably got to be fucking pissed that just happened. And I would be too. That Bianca Belair did not deserve that. She did not deserve to get buried in 11 seconds. And you know what's even worse? She's done as the women's champion. She's not getting a rematch because Sasha Banks, I'm guessing, has COVID. All right. Sasha Banks, last time we seen her was the what's it called? The August 13th episode of SmackDown last Friday. When Sasha Banks comes back, she's going right back into that title picture. It's going to be Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bianca Belair is done. There's no more title picture for Bianca Belair. She's no longer in the title picture. She's pushed to the side for Mama Lynch, Becky Lesnar, to come back and take the title on night one. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You would never, ever catch Tony Khan bury one of his bright stars in AEW. You would never see Tony Khan bury a Britt Baker, a Thunder Rosa, a Chris Statlander, the way that Vince McMahon and Bruce buried Bianca Belair in 11 seconds. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. What should I get into next? Seth Rollins and Edge. Let's talk about something good. This was probably the match I was looking forward to the Cena and Reigns match the most, but I thought the best match of the night was going to be Seth Rollins and Edge. I'd probably say the best match of the night was the main event, but this was second. They put on an awesome match. Edge had the Brood entrance. He came out to fire and out this fire pit. There wasn't any pyro tonight, which was weird. It was some stadium policy that there should be no pyro, and pyro's a huge thing in WWE, so didn't like that. But Edge came out as the Brood, and then he came out to Metalingus, and he had an awesome match with Seth Rollins. It was slow in the beginning, kind of boring, and then it picked up. All right, it picked up. Edge put on a bunch of submission holds in Rollins. Eventually, he got him in with a chokehold. Rollins tapped out and Edge got the win. Awesome match. Something I was really looking forward to, and it absolutely delivered in my opinion. Where these guys go from here, I'm not really sure. I don't know where Seth and Edge go from here, but time will tell. Time will tell. Goldberg, Bobby Lashley. This match, God, this match was atrocious. This match sucked. You gotta get Bill Goldberg out of a professional wrestling ring, man. Get him out. Get him out. He sucks. He moves like a 65-year-old. Sting moves better than him. You watch Sting's match Wednesday night with Darby Allen against 2.0, and you watch Goldberg tonight against Bobby Lashley. It's not even comparable who's better. Sting is miles better right now than Bill Goldberg, and he's in much better shape. Bill Goldberg was exhausted when he got into the ring after that entrance. What was shocking to me is they actually had a match. The match did not go 3 minutes like everybody predicted. Bill Goldberg and Bobby Lashley actually had a match tonight. It was not a good one by any means, but they had a match. And Goldberg nearly fucking paralyzed Bobby Lashley tonight, throwing him off the top rope. Bobby Lashley, when he came up, landed right on his head. He landed right on his head, and he could have paralyzed Bobby Lashley. And then Bobby Lashley is going after the knee. 3 chop blocks in a row. He's damaging it on the outside. Runs his knee into the ring post once. Does it a second time. Gets back in the ring. He's going for the spear. Goldberg's trying to get up. He can't get up. And the ref calls the bell. Absolutely shitty finish for a shitty match. Bobby Lashley wins by ref stoppage. And the worst is yet to come. He gets a steel chair. He attacks Goldberg's knee over and over and over again. Goldberg's son, Gage, runs into the ring to save his dad. Bobby Lashley puts him in a hurt lock. Got a huge pop. Crowd was cheering that a 15-year-old kid was getting put in a hurt lock. So, there you go. And that just pretty much confirms that we are getting another match between Goldberg and Bobby Lashley. The feud's continuing, and this feud is going all the way until Crown Jewel, which was announced tonight. Crown Jewel in October. I can't wait. I can't wait to see Goldberg win the title in Saudi Arabia again. I can't wait. God, this shit sucks, man. This shit sucked. And the crowd knew it sucked too. Because when the ref called for the bell, you heard booing. You heard a lot of booing when the ref called for that bell. And then the main event. John Cena versus Roman Reigns. I mean, what can I say? Match was great. Match was great. I'm not going to deny that, but it was kind of overshadowed by the end. And I'm not that excited about the ending because I know exactly why Brock Lesnar came back. I mean, it's cool to see him back. I'm happy to see Brock Lesnar back. He looks phenomenal. Brock Lesnar looks to be in phenomenal shape. I'm kind of excited to see the story that Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns are going to tell with Paul Heyman, but I can't be excited for Brock Lesnar's return because I know exactly why he's back. Cena had a great match with Roman Reigns. The match was great. Roman Reigns won at the end with a spear. Cena hit about 4 attitude adjustments, 1 regular one. When Roman kicked out, 1 through a table, one off the top rope, which I thought was it. Once Cena hit that AA off the top rope and he immediately covered Roman Reigns, I thought that was it, because when Cena does that, you kind of know that's the ending to the match. But that was not the ending to this match, as Roman Reigns kicked out. Roman Reigns kicked out. Cena was going for another one, and he got shoved. Superman punch. Spear. Roman Reigns pins Cena. Roman Reigns pins John Cena. Retains the Universal Championship. Out comes Brock Lesnar. Huge pop. It's cool to see him. I popped. I popped in the moment, because what am I going to do? Just sit there on my hands and be like, oh, whatever. Huge pop by Brock Lesnar. Expected. I didn't expect Brock Lesnar to be on SummerSlam tonight, but it's a huge pop. I know exactly why Brock Lesnar was on SummerSlam, though. I said it tonight. I said it earlier. Brock Lesnar, the only reason he showed up tonight was because it's a reactionary move for Vince McMahon, because he is scared about CM Punk and Brock Lesnar, CM Punk and AEW. So he's like, let me call Brock. Let me see if he can show up. I'll throw him $3 million just to walk out there and confront Roman Reigns. Yeah, pal, that's going to fix the solution. Meanwhile, the only reason Brock Lesnar is back is because Vince McMahon doesn't know what to do. Vince McMahon is scared. And Brock Lesnar is also back for that sweet Saudi paycheck that he's got coming up to him next month. I'm sure he's happy. Because he's about to get that sweet $2 million paycheck by Saudi Arabia after putting Roman Reigns over. So that's really all I got for SummerSlam tonight. The rest of the stuff, RKO won the tag team titles, which was a good moment to open up the show. Alexa Bliss defeated Eva Marie in probably the worst women's match of the entire year, and probably the most offensive match I think I've ever seen in a very long time as a professional wrestling fan. Keyword, professional wrestling. Probably the most offensive match I've seen in a very long time. Damian Priest won the United States Championship from Sheamus. Very good match. Very good match between those guys. But why should I care when WWE doesn't care about the mid-card division, and Damian Priest is going to have a reign as the U.S. champion exactly like Sheamus. And it's going to be nothing. It's going to be like, oh, cool. He's got the U.S. title, but they ain't going to do anything with him. They ain't going to do jack shit. Usos defeated the Mysterios again to retain the tag team titles. Felt like I've been seeing that match every week. Tag team match, singles match, it doesn't matter. So why should I care? Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre legit did not pay a single iota attention to that match. He was on Twitter the entire time. Was getting this set up. And Charlotte Flair is the Raw Women's Champion again. So, another meaningless reign for Charlotte. I thought she wasn't going to win tonight because she showed up in Mexico. She was in Mexico last week to show support for her husband and backed out of a WWE live event. And with everything going on with Andrade and AEW and Ric Flair leaving, I thought they weren't going to reward Charlotte, but here we are, another meaningless reign for Charlotte. She's now, a 500-time women's champion? Unbelievable. The women's champions are Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. That's like John Cena and Randy Orton from back in the day. Love it. Absolutely love it. The women's division in WWE is Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha. And Bayley when she's healthy. That's their women's division. The rest are just there. They're there. Between what happened on Rampage in AEW at the United Center to what happened tonight in Las Vegas at the Legion Stadium, I think it's pretty clear what was more better. I think it's pretty clear that the tides of professional wrestling are changing. I think it's pretty clear that AEW is going to be the new leader in this game. And I don't care what any of you say, but it's the truth. And I'm out here, man. Thank you all so much for tuning into this video tonight. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. We were at 420 subscribers, man, but we lost a subscriber. Man, what are you doing? You got to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel if you have not already for some great content. And if AEW is on fire, you're going to get some great AEW content every single week. That's a guaranteed. Football season is coming back, man. You're going to get football content on the channel very, very soon. Possibly as soon as next week. I don't know. But I don't know, man. I think going into college at Full Sail University and with football season approaching, I'm not saying I'm completely done with WWE. I mean, half my channel is WWE, so it would be stupid for me just to erase WWE off my channel, and I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is you're not going to get WWE content every single week on the channel. I'll be doing it here and there. I'll be doing the pay-per-views, of course. Maybe not previews and predictions, but reviews. You're always going to get that. But as far as TV goes, Raw, SmackDown, not even reviewing NXT anymore, but you're not going to be getting WWE content every single week with school and football coming back. I hope you guys understand my decision on that. Comment down below your thoughts about CM Punk and AEW. Let me know down below your thoughts about SummerSlam. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Colin_Joseph. And guys, I will see you tomorrow night for the NXT TakeOver 36 review. With myself, Cameron Johnson, and Nick Fiore. We will all be here tomorrow night on the channel to talk about NXT TakeOver 36, the final show from this long, historic week, not for WWE, of course, but for AEW, Tony Khan, and CM Punk. What time is it, folks? It's clobbering time. It's clobbering time. I'll see you guys tomorrow night.